7 days ago, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I headed to Beverly Hills to Cedars-Sinai. I went in there, I got prepped. I had a spine surgeon and I had a vascular surgeon. And this is something I arranged before the operation. We spoke. I had confidence in both of these guys. They both came to see me before the operation. So the vascular guy, he makes the cut and he goes in and he makes sure all your veins are out the way and everything's safe, so nothing can be damaged. I had no complications. It took around 2.5 hours. I was then taken back to the room. I woke up and then the vascular surgeon came in again. Great guy, his name's Dr. Rao, RAO. And he talked to me and said it was great. And this was great for me because it makes you feel good, makes you feel good. There's a personalization there. So he left, then my spine surgeon came in. His name is Dr. Edward Nomoto. He came in and he said, we cleaned out some bone spurs that you had, because this happens when you have no disc, the bones grow and all that crap. So they filed it all down. They cleaned it out, said, everything was fine. And then he left, and then I was laying in bed. I ate some food. I was starting to wake up more. My wife is already now with me. And, they come in and they say, would you like to stand with the help of a nurse? And again, I posted this video. You can watch this on my channel if you want. If you don't, I'll explain what happened. It's perfectly fine. So I'm on the bed, the gentleman comes in. So I'm laying on my back like this. So I bring my knees up, I do a log roll, okay, and then I put my arm out. I'm going to demonstrate this. I'll do it in the bedroom later on. But I'll put my arm out and then I just scoot up, keeping my torso straight, because you can't be bending, okay? You got to limit that. And then I'm upright. He reaches out, he grabs my hand. I'm in a lot of pain, but I stand up and then we walk around a small part of the hospital. So we walk, this guy, God bless him. I later found out that walking after surgery is also a good sign because it helps you not develop clots. I had the option to stay in hospital overnight, but I felt I was good enough to leave. I get back in bed and they say, would you be able to stand on your own? This was a couple of hours later. And so I actually get up on my own. This was another video that I posted. It's there if you need to see it. I stand on my own. It was painful. I was also, obviously you're afraid because you've got a piece of hardware in your back. And everything's going on. Is it gonna break? Is it gonna slip? They wouldn't be telling you to do it if they think you couldn't. So I stood for a little bit. Eventually I sit down. They wheel me out of the hospital and then I get an Uber home. Okay, so let me see where I'm at. So pills, medication. So they gave me hydrocodone, which is a very, very strong acetaminophen. I think that's how you describe it. So I'm almost out of these. These have got me through a lot of nights. And then they gave me methocarbamol. This is a muscle relaxant, okay? The way they explained to me in the hospital before the surgery, where my disc was now gone. So that space is closed. So the muscles and everything have got used to that, and the nerves have all got used to that. So what they've done is they've gone in and they've opened that back up to put the spacer in. This is going to irritate, it's going to cause problems, it might cause spasms, all kinds of stuff. The incision was a 2-inch incision, nice and clean. I had a very good vascular surgeon. The wound is now fine. I took the dressing off 3 days after. It's fine. It hurts sometimes if I stretch too much or move too much, but for the most part, you've been cut open, and that's what it is. The cost of this with insurance. So before I had the surgery, right? So I'm from England. So I don't know how this works, right? I come to America, you hear all these stories about people spending thousands and thousands of dollars to get simple things done, and then they go broke and they go into debt. This is like the stereotype for someone like me coming from England or coming from Europe. I don't know how much the surgery was, but I believe it was around 200 grand, okay? That would be out of pocket. Based on the research that I did, the medical facility, which is one of the best in the country, the doctors are great, the vascular surgeons, all that stuff, the anesthesia, you pay for all that. So my out of pocket maximum on my policy, and with United Healthcare, by the way, for anybody who wants to know, my out of pocket maximum, this is the most you can spend on covered procedures, right? You have your copay, you have your deductible, you pay these every time you go, depending on what your policy is, right? But my maximum out of pocket, which means the most I can pay in 1 year, this is important because it resets every year, is $4,750. So this surgery cost me $4,750. I might have paid the odd $100 here, $100 there. You know, they have these separate fees that just can come to you out of nowhere. The hospital, the brace that I'm wearing, I paid for this. I paid cash. It was about $170. I don't mind paying that. All in all, to pay less than 5 grand to have a major operation with people that I was comfortable with in one of the best hospitals in Los Angeles, well, California, I should say. You can't put a price on that. I was over the moon when I found out what it was going to cost, because I'd set aside a little bit more, but knowing that my insurance had my back on that was the best feeling in the world, okay? And it made me look at the American health system totally different. Yeah, it's still not the best if you're having small procedures, checkups, things, maintenance stuff. It can be $100 here, $200 there, $400 there. Does it work? Depends on, again, your body, how you heal, what condition are you in at the time. Thank fuck for that. And also the doctor and the facility, okay? So I believe I did what I needed to do on that end. Okay, I got many opinions, I did research. I wasn't just going in and then something goes wrong and I'm like, oh, I didn't do what I needed to do. Okay, I felt like I've done what I needed to do, and now the rest is on me. The fusions of today are not the fusions of yesterday. So it's a different day. And there's a lot of people that I feel are jaded because they had a bad surgery. I'm sorry it didn't work for you. I mean this from the bottom of my heart, okay? I am sorry. But that is not a decider for everyone else and their procedures and everything going forward. There's doctors that care, there's doctors that don't care. There's doctors that are great, there's doctors that aren't so great. But there was a lady that reached out to me and she said she had the ALIF, okay, anterior lumbar interbody fusion. She was telling me that, she's got the pains down the legs and all this. I'm like, yeah, they told me this and it's gonna happen. She said that after the surgery, they made her stand. I'm like, yeah, they made me stand. But she said, well, they made me stand so they could make me get an x-ray to see that everything was in place. So from my understanding, when they are doing it in the operating theatre, they can see everything they need to see. And if they're not satisfied, they shouldn't close you up. When she told me that, I was a little concerned because I thought, well, if they see something wrong after they've closed you up and you're just out of surgery, are they going to cut you open? Every hospital is different. I know every surgeon is using different technology, but she did say that this is a common thing. I'm not aware of it because from what I understand, they have a real-time x-ray as they're doing it. So they can see, okay, it's in place, it's great, close him up. Right, where else are we? So my form of exercise is yeah, I sit for no more than 30 minutes. I get up and I walk. I've got a chair that I got from Staples. It's an upright office chair to keep me upright. And, you know, if I'm aching or I feel a certain way, I just get up and walk. So that's what they've prescribed to me for the next 2 weeks, I believe. And I showed them that I can stand, I can walk. The brace is for protection. I've got this grabber. This is it's a lifesaver. It really is. It's a lifesaver. And it comes apart, and I've dropped this a few times and just stared at it on the floor. No more. It now goes in there. Just slip it in. Okay. They say if you can walk up some stairs, do that. But just getting the blood pumping and getting the, getting the body moving, standing upright, letting the weight be on your spine is also going to make it stronger. Not lying down all the time. You don't really want to do that. So as much as it hurts, it's good for you. Stress builds strength, and it's the same thing, but you've got to know your limits. You know, when you're in pain, just stop. Yeah, I'm in pain, but the medication they give you really helps. It does. I'm no way near 100%. It takes, from what I'm told, 3 to 6 months for you to get back to somewhat a normal life. You know, I like working out. I can't go back to the gym for at least 6 months. So that's going to suck. Yeah, beyond all this. So what do I want? I want to go back to life as normal. And you can. You can after this. You've just got to look after yourself. And you've got to know that if you're going to get this surgery, you're going to have to be off work for quite a while to heal. And when you do go back, you're going to have to take care of yourself. So the future for me is just taking care of my body, getting back into shape, and then you'll see me maybe traveling and doing some things, and just, you know, letting people know you can do that. You can do that too. I think I've covered all my bases. Oh, let me show you how I get into bed. I put my arm out and I just let myself, keeping my torso straight, just fall. I'm a side sleeper, so this is how I normally slept. But the first night, it was so painful, I had to rotate and go on the back. So to rotate, do the log roll. Here we go. Legs out. Bam. Come back up. Like I say, I'm doing a lot better than I was a week ago. I was like a 95-year-old guy. Let me rotate again. Let the legs drop off the bed. Both arms will help me stand up. And Bob's your uncle. My name is Tyrone. Thank you for watching, and God bless.